The electric chair is one of the most recognisable execution devices in modern history. First introduced in the United States at the end of the 19th century, it was originally promoted as a more modern and supposedly more humane alternative to hanging. Yet the process required the condemned prisoner to be very tightly restrained. Their legs, body, and arms were normally secured to the heavy wooden chair with leather straps. The restraints around the arms were particularly important because they prevented both deliberate and involuntary movement during the execution. The electric chair was developed during the 1880s when electricity was still a relatively new technology. New York became the first American state to adopt electrocution as an official method of execution. The first person to suffer in the electric chair was William Kemmler, who was put to death at Auburn Prison in New York on the 6th of August 1890. Although supporters hoped electrocution would provide a quick death, Kemmler's execution was badly handled and required more than one application of electricity. It demonstrated that electrocution was not necessarily the most simple and clinical procedure that the supporters of it had imagined. From the beginning, restraining the prisoner was an essential part of the process. Electric chairs were therefore constructed as extremely strong pieces of equipment. Leather straps were positioned around the different parts of the body, commonly the wrists or the forearms, the torso and the legs. Once the prisoner had been seated, officials tightened these restraints so that the person could move as little as possible. One important reason for specifically restraining the arms was that powerful electrical currents could cause muscles to contract. When electricity passes through the human body, it affects the nervous system and causes involuntary muscular contractions. During an electrocution, these contractions could be extremely powerful. Without restraints, the prisoner's arms or legs might move suddenly or violently. The armrests therefore provided convenient and solid places against which the prisoner's arms could be secured. Straps were normally placed around the wrists or forearms, preventing the prisoner from throwing their arms outwards or reaching towards the equipment. The heavy construction of the chair also helped it withstand the forces created by muscular contraction. There was also another practical reason for keeping the prisoner still. The electric chair depended upon electrodes maintaining good contact with the body. Different designs were used over the decades, but electrodes were commonly attached to the prisoner's head and one of their legs. Conductive materials such as a saline-soaked sponge were often used to improve electrical contact. Movement could potentially interfere with this arrangement. By securing the arms, legs, and torso, prison officials could keep the prisoner's body in a fixed position throughout the procedure. The arm restraints therefore formed part of a larger system intended to prevent movement rather than serving as electrical contacts themselves. The restraints also prevented deliberate resistance. A condemned prisoner facing execution might understandably panic or struggle. Someone with free arms could attempt to remove the headpiece, interfere with the straps or electrodes, or even grab nearby prison officials. Restraining the arms prevented this once preparations for the execution had begun. The restraints made the execution procedure much easier for prison officials to control. Executions were conducted according to carefully arranged routines. The prisoner was brought into the execution chamber, seated, restrained, and fitted with the necessary electrodes before the electrical current was then activated. Keeping the prisoner immobilized reduced the possibility of something becoming displaced at the last moment. Over time, the image of a prisoner strapped into a large wooden electric chair became deeply associated with capital punishment in America. The straps were not simply there to make escape impossible, they were an essential practical feature of the execution method. So ultimately, a prisoner's arms were restrained because electrocution could cause powerful involuntary muscular contractions, because officials needed the body to remain correctly positioned, and because the condemned person had to be prevented from interfering with the equipment. The heavy armrests and leather straps were therefore integral parts of the electric chair's design, helping turn what looked like a wooden chair into a highly controlled execution apparatus. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, maybe click subscribe. Once again, thank you so much for giving up your time to watch one of these videos.